Good evening. I'm Frederick Kongmeyer, residents of 625 Palmetto Drive. Um, we have the variances, and these variances are necessary because we have actual laws and criteria for developing our neighborhood. It's You first say it's 20 dwellings per acre, and there's proposed 12. It's only a third of an acre. That equals 6 units, and they're asking to double that. Now, are we making a home? Are we making apartments, or is this going to be a dormitory? With each of the apartments, if there actually are 12 apartments in there, what do we have? 4 or 5 people in a dwelling with 60 people. Now we're asking for variances on their parking. Now, you know how many people in Miami have trucks and big SUVs. Are they going to put them in those small spaces underground or on the bottom floor? They're going to park on the dead end, on my dead end. And it is unlawful to park at that dead end on the street. Am I going to have to be, every time there's a truck or an SUV that can't fit in their parking spots, am I going to have the police on speed dial to put a parking ticket out there? We already have some problems with that, but most of it tends to be on the south side where the Fairlane apartments are, the Fairway apartments. And that doesn't bother me. But every once in a while, they'll be having a party or something, and there's half a dozen cars parked out, even on the north side, on my street, backed up bumper to bumper. And I've tolerated that several times, and that's usually just for a party. But I just imagine if they can't get their big SUVs and their trucks in these little tiny parking spaces, where are they going to be parking them? Maybe they're going to go back in the alley. Is all that dirt and dust going to be, they're going to be parking back there in that alley and blocking that? Or are they going to pave it? The alley in the back there, if they're going to pave it, how much? Is it going to go all the way through? Well, then it becomes just what Palmetto Drive was, a new shortcut to Hialeah. We're going to have a paved alley there, and more traffic is going to be going back through there, just the reason why we have the island on Palmetto Drive. And this thing is 3 stories. Now, we know that good fences make good neighbors. And all of the residents in the neighborhood have privacy fences. This proposed building at 3 stories high is looking down right into my bedrooms, bathroom, and I'll be darned if I'm going to go holding on to my pajamas when I get in my hot tub. Now, I have some photos. Now, the solution would be, sure, let's build a privacy wall there that's 55 feet tall. Now, you're not going to be able to put trees in there that are 55 or 50 feet tall unless you actually bring in 55-foot trees, which probably cost prohibitive. But I do contend that this third-story buildings with balconies that are going to be on the north side are going to be a first-class building for peeping Toms. Now, one of the solutions, again, sure, let's build a privacy fence that's 50 feet tall, and then we don't have to worry about people looking into my pot tubs. Or the Fairway apartments have a quite ingenious solution. The north side, which is adjacent to the single property homes, has nothing but Let's get a picture here. Their kitchens and their air conditioning units with nobody on a balcony overlooking your backyard. Right now, my backyard, and I'll submit these for you to look at, is a naked fence with they knocked down all the trees that were growing there on their side of the property, obviously, and I have no foliage, and it's a view into my backyard from 50 feet above is even better than my holding my camera above my head. So I'd like to have a solution to the parking, the number of units at a third of an acre. Your criteria is 6 units. And for the traffic, there's the parking problems, the new shortcut to Hialeah if they're going to pave that back alley, and most of all, the privacy. That north side, if they're going to have balconies overlooking my hot tub and my bedrooms and bathrooms, is going to be just a peeping Tom paradise.
Good evening. My name is Ileana Ruiz Garcia. It took me 20 years to be able to find a home that I could afford and liked in Miami Springs. I bought a home mid-September, so I've been in that house a little over 2 months. If I would have known there was going to be a 3-story building, and I'm neighbors to Frederick, overlooking my patio, my pool, that I have a privacy fence, a lot of trees, and also people parking, I would not have bought that home. It's very discouraging for somebody like me who's been wanting to live in the Springs for such a long time that in 2 months I find out there's going to be a 3-story building with units above the allowed, with a request to reduce parking. We already have on one side of the steel barricade people going around in their car and coming down Palmetto Drive. I can only imagine the additional cars of what's going to happen to our block. I totally oppose this. I think if we have to do it, let's limit it to the 6 units and to enough parking spaces that can account for all the residents that are going to live in those 6 units. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roy Rodriguez, 564 Palmetto. Many of you know me. You know, I'm a pro developer. I'm a general contractor. I'm a little concerned about the fact that it seems to me we're squeezing 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. We have, yes, new units that may be allowed, but the units are all 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms. The 3 bedrooms have a 4th room which they label as dining room. The dining room has 2 closets in it. So what I'm envisioning is going to happen here is I don't know of any family that doesn't have 2 cars, by and large. So if you have a 3-bedroom home, I'm assuming that there may be 3 cars. 3 times 12 is 36. That's more than you have parking spaces. That doesn't make sense to me. When you reduce the spaces to 8'5", and they're confined between the 2 structural walls in pockets of 3, you're only going to be able to use 2 parking spaces. Because if you have an 8'5" space squeezed between 2 columns that don't let you open your door, there's no way that you can use the 3rd space. You can't get in and out. It'll be very, very difficult. The off-site parking is going to inevitably end up on our side, on the south side, because there's already a problem on the north side. So I would really hope that we could consider this. I think that if they could work out some kind of deal with parking at the Bell South building, some kind of long-term lease as part of this package, as a required variance or something, or I think they have to reduce the size of the units. I don't know. I really would like to see this not happen. even though they won't be looking at my window or my pool. I'm going to be too far away.
I live at 625 Palmetto Drive. I would like to know if there's an emergency. How would ambulances get into that parking space with all those cars? And you've decreased the parking space by 6 inches. How would they get in? How would fire trucks get in? I mean, what are we building over here? It's just not feasible. You have the barrier. They're going to be parking on the other side of the barrier. That is my house. That's my privacy. And I'm going to have the police department on quick call because I'm not going to tolerate it. I have been living there for almost 20 years. I've been tolerating the trash of the other apartment complex. I've been cleaning it. I'm not going to tolerate cleaning someone else's trash. When you have 12 apartments, you put 20 on an acre. This is 1/3 of an acre, and you're putting 12? It's ridiculous. I mean, who's doing the calculations here? They come to me and tell me, open your shutters, do this, do that. Who's checking the code over here? All the variances are being broken. All the laws are being broken over here. What's going on? This is Miami Springs. Who's looking into all this?